You could point to a million problems in the world, but I think the largest problem is compassion and our ability to see ourselves and other people. And Arthur Schopenhauer puts this best in his essay titled Compassion. This comes from The Essential Schopenhauer. I really urge you to pick up this book because it's very, very interesting. But I just want to talk today a little bit about his idea. And his idea is very, very complex, yet very, very simple. And it has great impacts if we could get everyone in the world to believe it. But the truth is, it's impossible. But at least you can make this change. At least you can do something and reframe things to make yourself a more accepting, a more whole, and a better person in general. And the idea of compassion, summarized very shortly, is the idea to recognize yourself in others. That's how Schopenhauer categorizes it, and he uses a phrase. I think it's a Buddhist phrase. This art thou, meaning that you are the other thing. The other thing is you. Everything that comprises you, all the atoms, all of the cells, are so much like everything else that you see that. How dare you say that you're different? How dare you say that you're better? How dare you value yourself above everything else? See yourself in everything. See that the fundamental building blocks of everything is shared, and thus we're in this together, and thus there's some relation. And when you think like this, it breaks down all dogmatic tendencies of humanity. It breaks down barriers, it breaks down countries, it breaks down religions. It makes you treat everyone exactly how you should be treated. You know, the golden rule. It's a very, very weird idea when you break it down like this, but why is this important? Why is this something you should embrace? Why is this something that you should take into the world and try to really live by? And it all comes down to, what do you want to be? Do you want to be someone that looks at the success of others and gets jealous and tries to break them down and tries to pull them back? Or do you want to see the human progress? Do you want to see things get better? Do you want to see the world become a better place? And the truth is, the only way that we can fight all of the injustice in the world is to forgive it, is to accept it, is to say that if I went through exactly what this person went through, I would probably believe the exact same thing. And give them some slack, give them some courtesy, because it's very, very easy for us to say that, well, given this situation, I would have done something different. Okay, maybe that's you, but if you saw absolutely everything that person had seen, if you experienced all of the traumas, all of the things that broke them down, all of the things that reinforced that this is the right thing to do, I doubt you would make a different decision. And recognizing that element of human nature, recognizing how most of who we are is shaped by the world around us and the society we're in and the circumstances we're in, it's very, very easy for us to point the finger at another political party. It's very easy for us to point the finger at another religion and say, you're the problem, you're this, you're that. It's so easy. What's much, much harder is to see it from that person's perspective, is to see it through their eyes, is to understand where they're coming from. Because if you don't understand where someone else is coming from and two people are shouting at each other, nothing gets solved. The only way things get solved is when I understand exactly what you're saying and what you mean deep in your heart. Even though you're saying something that might be disrespectful, I try to see through that and I try to reach across the aisle. I try to find some sort of understanding. And this is something I need you to understand, because it's like, even the people that hate us, we should still find appreciation for. Even the people that dislike us, we should still not allow these people to linger in our head. What is hate? What is anger? What is resentment? These are forces that can hold you down for the rest of your life. Have you ever met someone who's old and bitter? They're the worst people to talk to. They're the least interesting people. They live their entire lives basing their existence on someone that wronged them when they were younger, and they probably don't even remember who that person is. And it's so weird that people will live their entire lives fixating on an idea, fixating on a problem, trying to just point the finger and say this, and this. And it's like, what's the point? What's the point? You need to understand that you're part of a bigger cycle. You're part of a bigger picture, and everything that comprises you was once something else. Everything that comprises you will soon be something else. You're merely part of the big play. You're merely part of the one big movie. And it's like, when we start recognizing this fact and stop taking ourselves so seriously, then this is when the world gets better. But until we embrace these ideas, until we accept what Schopenhauer was trying to tell us, then nothing can get better. And I really, really appreciate Schopenhauer for saying this, because he takes a very interesting perspective. This is very much a Buddhist idea. This is very much a Taoist idea. yet he takes it from the influence of Schopenhauer. He uses Western examples, and I said he uses the influence of Schopenhauer. He uses the influence of Spinoza. Spinoza was basically a philosopher who was ostracized from Judaism because he was talking about a monad. He was talking about a pantheistic view, and basically that everything you see is different forms of each other, and everything that you see is just a mere expression by mere chance, and everything is in some way connected. And this is centuries before the discovery of atoms, centuries before the discovery of DNA or anything that shows us any sort of relation to other physical entities. It's a very interesting idea, and I'm really, really surprised when I read Schopenhauer. I'm really, really shocked because he's not someone that's cited as much as he should be. Like, the way people talked about him, it seemed to me like he was someone that maybe it's worth reading if you have some spare time. Maybe it's worth reading and picking up one book by him just to hear what he's about. But the more I think about his ideas, the more I see myself influenced by them. And the more I really start to appreciate some of his perspectives. I don't agree with him on everything. Some of the things I think he's too out there on, some of the things I think he's too fixated on the rationalization elements of stuff. But again, very, very interesting book, and this is a very, very interesting philosophy that I think you're really going to get a lot from. And please try to act with compassion. Try to understand that everything you see is part of you. Every part of this world has something in common with you, and when you find that common ground, when you find that ability to recognize yourself in others, and you start seeing, okay, I'm dealing with myself. How would I deal with myself if I was ignorant? How would I deal with myself if I had the wrong answer? How would I deal with myself if I was wrapped up and fixated on an idea that really doesn't make any sense, that really isn't the truth? And when you go through the world acting like this, and you go through the world and you're a saint, you're a hero, you're someone that is going to make it a better place, not someone that's going to point the finger and bring everything down, because it's one thing to criticize, but it's another thing to elevate. Let's start elevating the world. Let's start making it a better place. Love you guys so much. Thank you guys. Peace out. Catch you next one.